Hello and welcome to the Fresh Perspective podcast. I'm Nikita.
And I'm Jessie. Welcome to episode 10. Look at us go.
Episode 10. Hey, celebratory. Remember how this was?
It is.
This was the episode.
Yeah, we did talk about this. Yeah, it's episode 10. We have covered so many different things in so many different episodes. And basically we've decided that episode 10 is going to be the last episode.
Yes, which is quite bittersweet, but it's still, we just kind of have been through a little process and we've, you know, it's like Kylie Jenner says, the year of realizing things. And
oh, that's not quoted. Oh, God.
She's so good.
What does this podcast come to?
Kylie Jenner gets quoted. That's what it's become.
Oh, God.
But in name of the podcast, The Fresh Perspective, we have kind of realized that we both have different perspectives in life and different places and stages in life that we're at. And it's just, you know, it took a little bit to realize, but it's just something that we think is for the best to kind of...
Yeah, and also we live in two different towns and we're both so busy, like full-time uni, work, internships, etc. Like, it's really hard to find a time. So not only that, but also, just finding the time for it.
Yes, that was difficult.
And I think, and you know what? I think it should show that, you know, you're never going to see eye to eye with everyone in life, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing. Like, I think having different perspectives and realizing, like, hey, look, we probably have different visions, let's say, of where we want to go, and they don't intertwine at this moment in a positive way. So let's go our separate ways, and who knows if our paths will intertwine again in the future.
Exactly, and it shows a level of maturity, and it also shows, like, the good relationship that you have. Like, although it kind of reflects it in a bad way, but it still shows how positive and strong it is if you're able to have those discussions to recognize these things.
Yeah, 100%. It shows, like, you know, we're self-aware enough to be like, okay, look, we're obviously seeing things differently. And this whole podcast is kind of an odd one in the sense of, like, it was also us getting to know each other. Like, episode 1 was probably, we'd only spoken a handful of times. Like, we thought it'd be fun to get to know each other through the podcast as well as share our fresh perspectives on different issues. So it's been fun doing that, but I think it's good, like, sometimes you realize, you know, you're not super compatible with every single person. And this isn't saying, like, me and Nikita hate each other or we've realized, like, we don't get along. It's not that at all. It's more just, like, we have different goals and we have different outlooks on certain things, and we've just realized, like, it's not going to work for the podcast. So we thought, let's do a mini series instead.
And finish it at 10. 10's a good number, and we wanted to make sure that our little baby of the podcast is still
passion project.
A little passion project is still finishes in a positive way, and we can kind of prepare ourselves to go in the different directions we're ready to go in without letting that reflect badly on the podcast if anything happens. Like, it's just a nice way to kind of finish it off. And plus, you know, we've run through a lot of topics already, so
we really have. And it has been hard because we are at such different stages, like in our journeys even. It's been hard to, like, choose topics that we both feel we can talk on heaps. Like, there's been some that Nikita's, like, a full expert in that I'm kind of like, oh God, I don't even know what I'd talk about. Or there's been a few that I've been through more stuff relating to the topic than Nikita has. So we've just kind of realized, like, okay, this has been fun, but let's just leave it at 10. And we thought we would do today as, like, a kind of a wrap-up, recap, and reflect, my favourite word. The triple R.
This is going to be such a fun
episode. Also, just to share some, like, more advice, life lessons we've learned, things like that. Just have a good old chat and leave you with the best of us.
Not what's left of us.
Oh,
bringing in a good quote there.
Love that. I love how you turned my sentence
Yeah.
into a quote.
That's what this podcast has
Living
taught me.
quote.
Number one, always have a quote
Yeah,
prepared
quotes.
for all
Right.
situations in life.
Yeah, 100%.
Always. Okay, should we start off with episode 1?
Yeah, because I feel like we're going to ramble so
Yeah.
much that
Yeah.
we should just get into it.
Yeah, could go on. Could go on and on. Okay, episode...
So episode 1 was introducing ourselves, and we tried to make it fun by going into like more than just, hi, I'm Jessie, I'm Nikita, and we're this age, and blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. So we did personality
loved that.
types and star signs and really getting into the deep nitty-gritty stuff.
And I like... I feel like that episode, because we were still... like meeting each other technically and learning about each other.
Yeah.
It was so good because we asked so many deep questions, kind of like really got into like who we were. And I thought it was really fun.
Yes.
So then we were able to like learn.
Yeah, it was. And like, if we're being real, we actually recorded episode 1, I think 3 times
100%. It was 3.
in the end. Like we initially tried to start the podcast. I think we got to episode 3 and then we're like, let's
didn't
start
like
over.
it.
And then I think we'd already tried an introduction
when
episode
we did
before that. Like it was
when
just
we
a
did
lot.
one of the first introductions, because it was so many weeks before, because these are pre-recorded.
Yeah.
We were so
Yes.
nervous, so we recorded it again like
Yeah.
5 weeks later when we were way more comfortable, and it just flowed so good.
That's right. Yeah. We just, like I went to edit. I went to like not read over. Oh my God. Listen over just all the episodes before we were going to launch. And I was like, oh, I hate episode 1. Like it's just compared to episode 5.
We
like,
loved episode
obviously
5.
you get better as, like you just like, obviously podcasts is very much like you get better as you go, like most things. But yeah, episode 1 just sounded like, as a launch, we weren't happy with it. We wanted our launch to be this
and it
epic
didn't
thing
really
that people
reflect
fell in love with us.
Because we were so like, I don't know, it was so organized as well. So it was so like structured and like perfect. Like even though we structured it, it was still fun. Whereas the first one was kind of like you said, hi, like I'm Nikita, I'm Jessie, we're this age, we do this.
Yeah, and it was more like a really boring interview.
Yeah, it was.
Than a.
It was because we asked each other questions. It actually was an interview.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes. So, I was actually wondering, do you feel like you should do the personality test again, or do you think it is definitely you?
I was thinking this. So I went to do it last night, and then I don't know why something happened with my internet, and I was like, why would this happen now? So I didn't do it last night, but I will actually do it today, because as I was writing these notes, I was like, I want to do it again. Like, I want to know. But
and I think you have to really like also we're talking about the Myers-Briggs 16 personalities quiz, which you can Google 16 personalities test and it should come up. It's free, so do it. It's really interesting. But yeah, I think you really have to do it and answer the questions and really think about it and be like, okay, is what I instinctively go to answer actually me, or is it what I want to be? Because I've caught myself out doing it. I really had to be like, I feel like I'm answering that because that's what I want to be. Like your ideal self versus your actual self.
100%.
Yeah.
I still, like, when I look at it now and, like, read back through it, I still think there's, like, aspects of it that I relate to. But I think if I did it again, it would change, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, I would be really interested to see what you got, if it changed or if it stayed the same. Like, who knows?
You know, and then like maybe when I'd read over it, if it was the same, I'd probably pick out different things that I'm like, oh yeah, that's me, rather than the things I picked out in episode 1. But that was definitely my favorite part of the personalities. It was the best.
Yeah, I just love all that stuff.
So good.
For sure. Cool. So episode 2 was our ultimate uni survival guide.
Yeah, it's a good episode. One of my most important points from that is don't forget your water bottle at uni.
And choose the right water bottle.
Always choose the best water bottle you can. Not too heavy. Stainless steel, so your water's cold.
I still, yes, exactly. It's so hard. I still stand by the ultimate uni bag because it sounds just so materialistic and cliche and white girl, but like honestly, it makes your life so much easier. I honestly went on a full like year journey trying to find the perfect uni bag because like this bit sounds white girl and cliche and all that stuff, but you want a bag that like sometimes you feel dorky like running around with like a super bulky backpack and whatever, like right? And for me it's like it's literally like a handbag but a uni bag in one, and it's
and you
awesome.
Can use it for
and
other
I
things
just think
as well.
exactly, you want diversity, you want it to go with outfits, you want it to carry all your shit, most importantly, be comfortable to carry.
Yes.
Yeah, like I had a few bags I tried out that fit everything but was really uncomfortable to carry.
The straps
and
are like
broke the strap.
I hate
all
when
the
the straps
time.
are like
yeah
round, like circular, because then it like really digs in. I like when they're flat. It's a very picky point.
I might make a business of just like creating sturdy, fashionable uni bags.
Do it.
Oh my
God.
God.
Then market it and sell them.
Love
That's
it.
fun. I like that idea.
Stop it.
I still actually this whole semester, because for some reason I've had a lot of group assignments, which was fun. But the whole semester, all of my groups have wanted, because we had to fill out these forms, which is weird. Obviously, it's a new thing. I've never done it, but every single class made us fill out a form to see what grade we wanted and like what our job was. It's very weird. But I said in all of them I want a high distinction, and then I was putting groups that wanted a high distinction, and out of all of them so far that I've got back, I got a high distinction. So like I said in that episode,
that's awesome.
Put yourself with those people to get you a good mark.
That's amazing. That's
so good.
They should do that.
It is, because then you're not because it also asks like how much. I don't remember the exact wording, but it's basically how much effort will you put in, like how much do you really want out of it. And then it also says what grade do you want, and so it's like partnering people with what they want, which I think is really cool.
But do you think people would be honest? Because I feel like if I was like a stingy slacker, I would put 100% effort in and get a HD because I wanted to be partnered with the HD people.
Well, that is true.
That
is true. But I think it's also, if you have a lot of assignments, it's good if you genuinely just want a pass, which we have feelings on that. But if you did and you said it, there's like kind of no one's like, I don't know, if you felt like you don't have time to put a lot of effort in, then you can just be in a group where everyone's kind of like just chilling.
And maybe they look at your grades as well. Like, that would be good if they did. But
I don't know. It was weird because every class did it. I was like, I've never done this before.
Okay, cool. Oh, that needs to be like a permanent thing.
So good.
I think that I personally, I can't remember if I said it in the uni episode, but I like to go to the classes for a few weeks and suss out whether it's worth getting the textbook, because I haven't bought a textbook in 2 years and I haven't regretted a single thing.
Honestly, I do agree with that. I don't think for most classes they're that necessary. I think they're important if you do exams or something, because pretty much everything from class is taken from the textbook.
And also if you're doing like a science subject or something like that, it's totally different. But business, I'm like,
is it necessary? No. But
or communication.
Oh, yes. But it is important. It's a good thing. You can sell it again and get rich.
Yeah, I've tried to sell some of mine and they've never sold. So, yeah.
Well, don't get my hopes up now. I'll be sad.
I'm sorry.
I was hoping I'd get money for it. Just sell them all.
Good luck. I mean, maybe in Brisbane it's better, but not here. Episode 3 was the transition into adulthood, which was one of my faves because what the fuck? When are you an adult?
Yeah.
Literally.
It's, I'm there. And if I could look back when we recorded that episode, I would just like to, me right now would like to be like, what are you doing? Sit down. Like what you said. Like when I listened back to it, there are so many different things that I feel now that I like can sit and be like, you are really in that stage. Like you are very, very still young. And I know that in that episode I said I like to surround myself with older people, which we all know, which I still think is good. But where I'm at in this stage, I think it's important to also surround yourself with people that are your age. So people I went to school with. I went to dinner with some of my friends from school the other day. And you just kind of realize, like for me, that I am not really there where they are, you know? Like I've been pushing so much because I've been surrounded by like these role models that I want to be. And then I kind of sat back and I thought they're all like over the age of like 25 or 25 for you. But they're all like they've lived life. Like you haven't done that yet. And then I saw my friends from school and they're all like just chilling out. Like there's no stress. Like they're just fine. And I'm like, what? Like, what am I doing? I was just pushing myself so hard to be a part of that adulthood that I then forgot.
Which I think's normal. Like everyone wants to grow up faster than they are, or like you want to jump towards the ideal stage, you know?
Yeah.
But you have to go through the, I wouldn't say shitty years, but you got to go through the years where you're trying to hustle. I know we don't throw that word around lightly, but trying, you know, you work hard, you do a lot of shit. Like when I was your age, I was doing 2 jobs and worked like 31 days straight to save for a Europe trip.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like everyone goes through different stuff, but you have to go on your own journey. And I don't think you have to be hanging out with people your age or hanging out with older people. You just like, because for me at 25, like I hang out with so many different people and I never think about their age. Like most of my friends from uni are actually quite younger. And I never think that they are young in my head. You know what I mean? I just see them as people. Like, and I think it's just like, you focus on you, and getting inspiration from people is great. But don't wish your life away. Like,
no,
I wish I was 19 again sometimes so that I could
that's what I'm learning.
do shit differently.
Right. Oh, don't know. That's your path. Everything's happening
for
a reason.
One of my tips about the adulthood is no regrets. Don't have any regrets. Like, it'd be cool to go back and see what would happen if I did things differently, but I don't regret anything because it got me where I am today and it's made me who I am. So never regret anything you did. You can be sorry. Like you can be like, oh, you know what? I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done this, but there's no way you can change it. So there's no point regretting it.
That's so true. That's advice I should take. In that episode, I said my advice was to find people who fit in with your lifestyle. And I sound like I'm reflecting on my life from 5 years ago. It was like
Literally.
5 weeks ago.
You're 82 and you're like, when I was 19.
This is what I said. But I kind of realized that wasn't really what I was doing, because I wanted to be surrounded by these people, but it wasn't really the fact that we were like so connected or anything. It was the fact that I wanted to be where they were. So then that was just like making it worse, like inside, because I was like, oh, I want to like surround myself with these people that fit into my lifestyle, but it wasn't really my lifestyle. Because it was what I was like striving so hard, and then it was draining.
Yeah. But then again, I think like obviously it's good to surround yourself with like people that have the same values as you. I think you should think of it as that. And like, just because they're doing stuff that you want to do eventually doesn't mean that you have to see it as like, oh, they're who I want to be or they're where I want to be. Like they can be inspo and like empower you and inspire you.
Yes, it's very true.
But you don't need to put so much pressure on yourself to like match that. It's like,
I feel like
just as long as you have the same values, I think it's good.
Yeah. And then like you said, any age is fine.
Exactly.
You don't even notice. It's just the person.
Exactly, because some of those friends you went to dinner with, some of them I'm sure are like drinking every weekend and like have a really casual 3-day-a-week job and kind of don't do much and are just happy cruising by at the moment. And maybe another one is like found the love of their life and wants to get married at 19, or maybe another one is like, you know, getting $200,000 a year and found an amazing job. Like you just don't know. Yeah.
And everyone's kind of got to go on that path or journey themselves.
So just surrounding yourself with people with the same values is good, I think.
That is good. Good advice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just put as well, like, I think the biggest thing when you're going into the transition of adulthood, whether it's from 17 to 25 and up, like, I think keep an open mind, take leaps of faith. Like, honestly, especially when you're 17 to 20, even 22, you have nothing to lose. Like, go and do some crazy shit. Move countries, do stuff that fucking terrifies you because you have nothing to lose. Go travel.
Whole life ahead of you.
Exactly. My biggest one is travel while you're young. Mm-hmm. And I just can't emphasize that enough.
But
well, no, but you could still do
we're
some
praying.
shit.
We're praying.
If you know what, while you're waiting for the borders to open, work your ass off and save money so you can go on an epic trip when the borders open.
Yes. And then you can go just everywhere. Just for months or a year.
Yeah. Or someone else had said on a podcast I listened to that you should use this time to finish your degree. Like, if you've been putting off studying for ages, or if you've been putting off a master's, or if you've been putting off going back to uni, you might as well do it now because you can't do anything else. Like, you can't go traveling. There's nothing to interrupt. There's nothing to make you feel like stuck.
Yeah, and it's still like excelling you into where you want to be. Like, you're not just kind of, because a lot of people feel like during this time they're just like sitting there doing nothing because they can't go anywhere.
Exactly.
So if you continue studying, you'll feel like you're going somewhere. Achieving greatness.
Exactly. Episode 4?
Internships.
Oh, that's what it was. I didn't write that one down. Internships. Oh my God, we love this shit.
We do. I've written next to that, go out and get one. You won't regret it. That's what I've written next to it.
100%.
I honestly just think like the experience in general is like, this is going to sound dramatic, but it's like beyond comparable. Like, it's nothing that you'll get at uni. Like,
yeah, honestly.
It's so important.
I actually spoke to a guy I know from uni yesterday about maybe collaborating or something, but he was kind of picking my brain and we were talking about starting our own thing, like separately, not together, just like how we'd like to start our own agencies and whatever. And he asked me how I would go about social proof. Like, he's like, how do you're starting new, you're new to the industry, you don't have clients, whatever. How do you like make a website that has social proof? And I said, like, mate, go out and find as many small businesses as you can that you think need social media help and offer your services for free. With the condition that they will let you use the work you do for them in your portfolio. And by the end of the year, you'll have like 5 or 6 businesses you've worked with that you can put on your website as a showcase, a case study or whatever. Yeah. And they might even give you a recommendation if you've done a good job. And then if you've done a really good job, they might even hire you. And if they don't, like, don't stick around. But if that's where you're at, like, work for free. I think internships is so good because, you're literally like, no, you're not getting paid. Apparently, they do paid internships, which we've never fucking heard of.
That's not a thing. We don't talk about it because we don't want to know.
But you work for free, yes, but you don't get money, but you get experience and you get skills that you wouldn't get at uni, and you get to apply it, and you get to trial out the career. That's our biggest thing as well. Plus you make connections that may benefit you in the future.
So many positives right here.
All our favorite words.
Yeah, they're all right there. I will also say that I think at the beginning of my degree, God, I was very like, go getter, which I still am. And like we discussed, I always like reach out and, I usually find that the most beneficial rather than waiting for someone to look for an intern. But yeah, I think that's the better option. But I will say, don't just go for anything. Like, I feel like that's what I did at the beginning. And then you kind of, a bit through, like, as you're doing it, you're kind of like, oh, I don't really like connect with this company. Like, this isn't actually really what I wanted. Like, you need to spend time researching and checking out that is the company for you. Like, don't just type in, like, I used to type in PR companies in Brisbane, and then I would just go through and just like send emails personalized, because I was positive to do that. I was like, make sure they know that you haven't copied and pasted it. But it was kind of like, this year I didn't do it, but like the year before, you just kind of write and you just send it out to all these people and someone says yes and you're like, yes, cool. And then you go there and you're like, oh, is this not what I really want to do? But I just thought I would send it out to everyone. Like although they're all the same industry, every single business company is different, and you kind of have to suss out which one's right for you.
Yeah, and I think, I think in general, at the stage in life that we're in the sense of like when you're at uni and you're kind of trying to figure out where you fit in a career and you want to learn more and you maybe want to do an internship, it's easy to think, oh, I have to say yes to every opportunity presented to me. But you need to think really about like, well, what do I want to do? What, like, do I want to... I don't know, like, I guess what kind of, you don't need to know exactly what career you want to do per se, like, or exactly the role, but you need to have a think about like what your values are and where you would like to work so that you can do that research and you can, for example, as well, like I got an opportunity from our lecturer to do social media work for a politician, and I thought like, wow, this would be a really good opportunity because government, something really cool to have on your resume and stuff. But then I was like, I hate politics and I don't want to talk about it or do like...
And you also feel like you probably don't like know everything about it, so then you'd be constantly asking questions, and
I feel like they would be for them so controlling about it. Like creative control would be low. So it's like, you know what, go and meet the people, but don't be afraid to say no. And if you're one of those people who can't say no, then like don't go to the interview if you think you won't be able to say
I'm not going anymore. No.
Literally.
That's a big thing, actually. Just learning to say no. I also think if you want to find out a little bit more about a company, when you go on their website, pretty much all of them, I believe, I know the ones I've looked at have like their values or their mission or something like that written on the website, and then just kind of look through that and read like the about and see if they're like small company when they started, like blah, 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 blah. Because, you know, that might just help you figure out. Stalk them on Insta. Check out their personal brand as well. See who owns it. Just really, really dig into it.
Research.
Oh, yes. For sure.
Episode 5.
Yes. Which is personal branding. I just had to double check that.
I know.
That's a fun episode. It was a good episode.
It was good.
Yes. So I remember saying... I can't remember if you or I said it, but I remember hearing it last night, that you were kind of displaying yourself as a business. So kind of representing yourself. I also remember saying, which obviously this is me showing you how I felt and I didn't know myself, that you kind of want your personal brand should be what you want to put out into the world.
Yeah.
Which then, you know, sometimes for some people isn't really who they are. Because it's kind of putting out that persona that you want, which still isn't that negative. Like, it's not a bad thing.
It can be, but
you just have to know.
I think you need to, like, because what we said was fake it till you make it. So if there's a persona that you really want to be, but don't feel like you are, you can still put that persona up on Instagram.
Yes.
Like, the beauty of Instagram, because we kind of focus mostly on personal branding within social media and Instagram. And within Instagram, you can be whoever the fuck you want. And I think as long as you're not lying, like, you know, you wouldn't go on and say that you're an amazing chef when you've never cooked in your life. But
or you're a vegan but eat meat every day.
Exactly. You can't lie, but you can put your values in and make a persona that emphasizes those because that's where you want to be. That's like an inspirational thing that you're like, I'm going to put out this persona because eventually I want to be that persona. And that's fine. As long as it goes with your values.
Yes. I will say there is a thin line and you just have to be aware of it where it can kind of like be negative to you per se. Yes. So if you are putting that pressure on yourself to be this particular person that you're showing everyone, and then you just kind of, I think it's okay for your personal brand to change as you change. And I think for me, and I feel like a lot of people, you kind of think that like you stick to what it was. So then you kind of just get, like, as you're changing or realizing things, you don't want that to be shown. So then it gets harder because you're like, but that's not actually, like, I'm laying in my bed in pajamas and I'm pretending I'm out having fun. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
like,
actually
don't
not
be
in
so
that mood
hard on
anymore.
yourself with it, because, like, at the end of the
There is
day,
that thin
Instagram is
line.
highlight reels as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. And I think as well, you just need to realize, like, you can put up a persona that is confidence and just be real and say, I'm working on my confidence. And, you know, I believe in confidence. I think we should all be confident, blah, blah, blah. Like, really hone the confident side. But you don't need to, like, put on a fake personality.
No, yeah.
So it's interesting.
And you can kind of just, I think, like, it's understandable to pretty much everyone. Like, everyone goes through those stages. So it's, if you say, like, oh, you know, like, I'm kind of not feeling great. I'm kind of loving how almost all influencers, I saw it the other day on my stories, almost all influencers are just being so honest now. Like, they're kind of like, oh, today's not really my day. Like, I didn't really feel like doing anything. So I just, like, sat there.
Yeah.
And you're like,
we really need to normalize that. And I think people, it's interesting to see the huge influencers have self-doubt as well. Like, Sarah's Day recently was, like, saying in her vlogs, like, do you guys even find this fun, like, entertaining? Like, I feel like it's my boring life, and I'm, like, thinking my videos have gotten super boring, and, like, do any of you even want to watch it? It's like, yes, we love you. We want to see things you do. We love to see inside your life. And, like, I get it, because like, when it's you thinking that you're fascinating and that people want to watch you, like, millions of people want to watch you, that seems bizarre to you. Like, it's normal.
Is that true? Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And it's cool that self-doubt, like, because I always think, you know, self-doubt is crazy, but then to see people that are wildly successful, it's like, you're always going to feel self-doubt, even if you have millions of followers.
It's very true. I think it's also because we used to have these discussions. So I used to always be like, okay, you know, it's fine to have a day where I can, like, just, like, not be so focused on what I'm doing or, like, pushing myself. But I think it's also important to say that, like, if you've noticed these things and you kind of want to, you know, like, combat and, like, grow as a person, it doesn't have to be a day. Like, it can be a week, it can be weeks, it could be a month. Like, you need to, sometimes it takes a while, and that's why it is a journey. And it's not just a day where you lay in bed and then the next day you're like, oh, okay, I'm back to my, like, hard work.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Like,
it can be whatever you need it to be. I think, like, you just have to go with how you feel, like, go with your gut for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. I also had as well, like, adding value, my favorite.
Yes, I have.
Make sure you're adding value. Don't just fucking post shit for the sake of it. Like, make sure that your part's in it and that you're sharing stuff that adds value to people's lives. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yes. Unless you're, like, you know, a 18-year-old that just, you know, is living their life and just wants to post a photo of the beach and say, beach, you know, that's fine. But if you're trying to build a personal brand and you're trying to become something, you do need to add that value. Otherwise, it's not really going to help at all.
Yeah, totally. I think even if you just have Instagram as a personal dumping ground, like, it's still adding value if you're putting thought behind what you post, but it can 100% be somewhere you just, like, post whatever the fuck you want. Like, it's whatever. But yeah, if you're trying to be a brand, if you want to be, like, a brand, then you definitely... I just realized I did the quotation marks, but they can't see that.
Sorry. They were right at the camera too. You were really showing me.
I know. And then I was like, wait, no, they can't see that. That's hilarious.
It happened, though. It happened, everyone. Okay, episode 6.
Yeah. Okay. Self-confidence.
Yeah, woohoo. This was an episode. I think it was a good episode. I loved it. But I think... looking back at my 5 years ago, it wasn't really, like, I remember saying that I loved, like, words of affirmation and I needed everyone's approval, and that you just need to, like, try new things and, like, showing up to places confident. And I remember saying, like, all those things. And then I just kind of thought, like, that's not really, like... When I said, like, I needed approval and words of affirmation, it was so true, but I didn't really think about it, like,
in a
the effect
way?
that it had. Yeah. Like, I didn't really think, like, I was kind of like, oh yeah, like I need people's approval, but I didn't really see how that is a negative thing. Like I didn't think about it as like, you know, like that's probably not okay. I just kind of thought like, oh yeah, that's just like who I am. And then we moved on and then spoke about other stuff. And then when I listened back to it, I was kind of like, oh, like it's okay, you poor little girl. It's okay. But yeah, I mean, that's like I do love about this podcast and this situation is that like when I listen back to them, like I did last night, I was like, whoa.
That's it. Like you've already, and I think honestly, 19 is an age where you are constantly changing. Like you go through so much change and self-discovery that you're almost a new person every week. Or like, you know what, like you just don't know. It's like you got to be open to that. And I think it's good you can reflect and already think like, wow, I've changed.
Yes, it is very good.
As long as you're happy with the person that you become, then it's all good.
Yes, very true. Do you have your favorite piece of advice from that one?
Yeah. So very, what's the word? Very opposite. Not opposite, but it's contrast, let's say. A massive contrast to what you said.
Hit me with it.
Not caring about what others think.
See, so that's where I'm getting.
You know, yeah, exactly.
It's coming slowly.
It is. No, it is. But it's interesting. You were like, I noticed I said I need affirmation. And I'm like, I don't think you should care what others think.
Yeah.
Like, I said in the podcast, try to change your mindset, like, onto a more positive thing. Try to think that you're talking to a friend or a sister or someone that you like you would never say horrible stuff. Well, you would if they're your sister, I guess, but you know, like not that horrible. I think you need that frame of mind of instead of why don't they want to be my friend, thinking why should I want to be their friend if they're being horrible, you know, or and definitely I need to just mention the quote that I love again, which is, those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. And always remember that. Like, do not give a fuck about what people think.
It's an amazing quote, actually. I feel like it's versatile for everything. And everyone uses it.
100%.
Such a good quote. And on Pinterest, they also have really nice ones where it looks pretty. In case you want to make it your wallpaper or something. They look nice. Yes. I feel like that's where we're at with that episode, you know. That's a good episode to kind of
self-confidence is a constant thing you're building as well. Like I'm confident, I would say I'm confident, but some days I have days where I feel super self-doubty and not confident, and that's so normal. Like it is not a final destination, it's a constant journey.
And 100%. And I think that was one of those episodes, like not in a negative way at all, but that reflected where we were at individually. Like, and even now looking back at it, that I'm able to realize these things, it's just funny when we like look back at it and be like, whoa, like you were able to say like, oh, you know, I've been through this journey and like, you don't need to care. Like, you know, just try, like focus on the positive and all this. And then like during that time, I was in that moment where I was like, I need people to think I'm doing good. And
exactly.
But it just reflects the journey.
Yeah. Number 7 was motivation and organization, which is also, I just love these topics. Obviously, we chose topics that we were fucking passionate about.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
this
was a lot of things.
This is just a good topic in general for everyone.
100%. Yeah.
Every single aspect in life, basically.
Yeah. God, we went through so many tips as well.
Yeah, especially uni related and work related. It's so good for uni. When I was listening back to it, I was kind of thinking about like uni life, like right now, and I was like, shit, like these are good tips. I was like,
you're like
this
writing
is
them
good.
Down. Like these girls are on to stuff.
Do this. She's on it. Okay, so my favorite ones for organization still are having a daily planner or just writing a to-do list, basically, anything like that. Although we all know I'm not for a book. I have to have it open. I hate when I can't see it. And calendar blocking is still my favorite thing. Like just blocking out those times exactly right. Color coding too. Love that. But yeah, for organization, that's them.
Yeah, I think we said as well, like organization is something that can kind of work for everybody, but when it comes to motivation, it's different for everybody.
Yes.
Like, because it's hard to find.
Yeah.
You have to find your own personal kind of style.
Yes, my this might come to a shock to you. My motivation advice, like my favorite parts have changed a little bit. So now I am all for like just going outside and like just even if it's sitting in the sun or something. Like I used to always be like my desk is like my workspace.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of like, like sitting in the sun's nice. Like I love that. And like just moving or exercising, which I was into then, but it's still so good. And socializing. And this is the big one. I've now changed my mindset a little bit to start thinking about the smaller goals, like you said, that lead into the big goal rather than just the big goal.
Yeah, good. Break it down.
Because that was such a big achievement to think that my goal in general to keep me motivated was 10 years time. And that I was so adamant on that because I was like, that's where I want to be, like that's what I want to do. But now I'm kind of like, well, in a year's time, this will happen. And it's just making it so much easier and less pressure.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you're never going to feel satisfied with a 10-year goal because you're like focusing on a 10-year goal because you're never going to be able to achieve it within the year. And it's like, it's just unrealistic. So
it is.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I changed that. I feel like I got that from your tip as well.
Oh,
so, thanks for
you're bloody welcome, hon. I'm an inspiration. I find it easier to do that, so that's awesome.
Yes.
I actually had about the finding your dream job bit that we talked about in there somewhere, maybe at the start, I'm not sure, but the whole feeling lost, not knowing what you want to do for a career, maybe feeling unhappy in your job, I think was a huge one because it resonates with me so much. Like I have constant stress or when I was younger, I would cry all the time, not knowing what I wanted to do. I just felt so lost and purposeless. And even today, like sometimes I just question, like, is this what I want to do? Like, I really believe that I need to create my own thing to try to tick all the boxes.
100%.
And I think like anyone else looking, you really need to just like trial stuff. Like we said, like work for free or like go and just apply for jobs that you, even if you're not qualified, like try to get in with people in jobs that you think you might enjoy, really do your research. I think that was my biggest thing for that episode because I just like motivation, comes from, it's hard to find motivation for other things if you don't know necessarily where you want to, what direction you want your life to take. Yeah.
And that's also something that needs to be normalized.
Yes.
Because everyone gets, like you might see those people that are like, this is what I want. And that's what they're putting out there. And they are so, like, they know 100% what they want to do. And I feel like to other people, you and I are those people. Like, they're like, oh, wow, like they really know what they want to do. But then deep down inside, we're like, whoa.
Yeah, well, I think you at 18 versus me at 18 were two different people as well. Like, because you knew and were all like, I'm going to do this. And I was like a wreck. Like, I've never been that person that knows what I want to do. Like, I just, and again, I hate to bring it up. Well, I don't hate. I love to. But go traveling if you don't know. Go on a fucking trip and do some self-discovery. Like, you don't need to, it's not all about your career. Like, if you feel lost and have no direction, go do something crazy like that and just live your life a bit and you can come back to it. There's no like finish line that you have to reach by a certain time.
It's very true. Very true. Okay. Are we ready for episode 8? Some self-care.
Self-care. Yes.
Yay. Okay. So, well, I was listening back to it. That intro topic was one of my favorites, mood monitoring and emotional awareness. More for that. I've
toxic positivity.
Yeah.
Oh, was that?
That's episode 9.
No. Oh, my bad.
It's okay. Merge them. I have actually been mood monitoring so much lately, and it's so helpful. I actually think it was ever since that episode, like that night.
Yeah, good.
And it's just so good.
Inspo.
I love it. I love doing it.
Good.
And then I look back at it the next day because I do it like I said in that episode. I think I can't really remember, but I do it underneath my to-do list. And then so I can reflect on it from that night of what happened that day. It's so good. I recommend it highly.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
Yes. Oh, you said in that episode, which I've stolen and I love, refueling and recharging.
Yes,
It's the main part of it.
And I think that's the whole point of self-care.
Yeah, 100%. And and I feel like sometimes that's how people get lost when it comes to self-care, because that's not what they're focusing on.
Exactly.
'Cause
I think
it gets skewed.
yeah, like you can, like we said in the episode, I think it's like, you know, you can, if you're in a point where maybe you're like younger and you are going on all these like weekend benders and like you just feel shit, you feel like your life's not going anywhere and you're having a bad time, like you think, how do I make myself feel better? And if you're just like, I'm going to have a bath and do a face mask and drink some water, like, yeah, that's great. But like, if you don't have the mindset of like, okay, I really need to evaluate my life, reflect on things and make some changes, then you're not going to help yourself. Like, I think people forget that sometimes self-care is mental and emotional, not just physical.
That's so true.
My thing that I brought out of this episode is finding the kind of thing for you that really makes you, like finding your own self-care routine that always works to refuel and recharge and reflect and all that. And for me, it's every morning I like to have a routine. Not every morning, but most mornings when I need to have a productive day, I know that as my self-care, I need to get up early, have a shower, like, you know, do the whole, you know, when you like wash your hair, shave your legs, moisturize, like everything.
Yeah.
Exfoliate, all that stuff.
I love that day.
Right?
My favorite days.
And then, make myself some coffee, sit down, put a show on that I love watching and do my makeup. Like that whole routine really puts me in a productive mood.
Yeah.
And then if it's something where I'm upset, or I kind of have three. So like that one is if I need to be productive and I'm having a bad mental health day, I need to do that to start my day. The second one is if have a lot on my mind, I feel a bit lost and all that, or I'm just having like a bit of a downer, I need to have a bath with candles, some show on or music or books, just a full relax, like get myself in the zone. And it won't be a bath for everyone. For some people, it might be a run or it might be whatever. Like for me, it's like complete relaxation. So I do that. And then my last one is stress relief, or like to get my mind off of stuff. And that's to declutter and organize. I love like going through my clothes and like reorganizing my wardrobe. And that really takes the stress off of my mind.
You've got the 3 categories.
I know.
That's so
I just
smart.
thought of it then. Like I'd listed them and then I was like, actually, all of these things are for different things. Like if I was really stressed and had a lot on my mind, I could not go and have a bath because my mind would just think of all of that stuff constantly.
Running through,
Yeah, but if I'm organizing and decluttering, I have another purpose to focus on, so it distracts it.
I love that.
And I love doing it.
That's
I know.
so good.
Find your little things and make sure that you can mood monitor and be like, fuck, I'm stressed today. I have a lot on my plate. Yeah. So I know that I'm gonna go and declutter my room. Try not to procrastinate, but make time for it.
Don't be like, oh, I'm so stressed from this assignment I have due tomorrow. It's okay, I'll clean. Don't do that.
and I think for me, it's just like the whole clean mind, clean room, space, clean mind. Because, if I'm physically cleaning a space or tidying a space, then I feel more organized in my life and then I feel less stressed. If that makes sense.
I also think, like, all the time, if something's clean, like say you renovate your bathroom or something and then you get all these new things in your bathroom, I never want to mess it up, so I always keep it clean. But if something's already messy and I'm cleaning it, I'm never gonna properly clean it because it's like already messy. And I feel like that happens in my mind as well. Like that's why you gotta be like, keep everything organized in the head.
Love it.
Very true. Yes, I feel like the last thing I have is just like I said before, just knowing that you can take that time, whether it be a day, a week, a month, a year, 10 years. It never has to stop. But I mean, it would be sad if it was 10. But kind of just knowing that, and you can still do, it depends where you're at and how you're feeling, but you can still do everything you do on a daily basis. Like Jessie 100%. Just said, like just picking those random little times to make yourself feel better. And you can do that every day if that's what you need. Or
Yeah.
sometimes you need like to just fully stop and just
Yeah.
have a week where you're
Yeah.
just focusing on you. You just kind of have to be self-aware to know what you kind of need.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's important with self-care. Episode 9,
Episode 9.
toxicity.
I knew you'd say it.
I had to get it out really fast just then. It's like,
Yeah, you did.
she's going to say something, so I can't get it out. Say it.
Oh, God. Yes. Toxic people, toxic relationships,
Toxic everything.
family, friends, and
Yeah.
workplaces. And we even talked about toxic positivity in the
Yes,
intro.
that was the intro. That was a good one. I like talking about toxic positivity because I feel like it isn't, like, I didn't really understand it was a thing, to be honest. Like, I know you kind of feel it when people keep doing it. Like, I was experiencing it a lot, but you don't really realize that it's actually like a thing.
It has
like,
a label, yeah.
yeah.
It makes you feel more validated as well when
Yeah.
things have a label because you're
Yeah.
like, oh, it's not just me. Like,
Other
it's
people
a
feel
fucking
it too.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very true. But yeah, toxic positivity is gone from here.
Good.
Goodbye.
Yes, we deleted that shit.
Yeah. Delete. Bye. No more hustle harder.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I don't even think I ever said that, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I
a
think I've
weird
used
thing.
the hashtag.
Yeah. Girl boss. Used that one.
Oh God. Ooh. Well, mine was mostly a takeaway from, I guess the first one was from the toxic relationships because obviously I was very, I could resonate with that 100%. And it was more like, don't ever feel like you can fix someone and don't ever feel like leaving is giving up on them. Like sometimes you have to put yourself first. Actually, you always have to put yourself first. Always.
Yeah.
In every situation. Obviously not. Yeah. I mean, there's obviously a negative side to that in that you can be really selfish and put yourself first when people need. But there's a line again, like, and you need to know if you're in a situation where someone's making you feel bad all the time, prioritize yourself. Like, you know, when things aren't okay, you might be in denial, but don't be afraid to leave. Like, just fucking leave. If it's shit, leave.
Yes. I have a little piece of advice and then my favorite quote to go with it. So,
God, favorite quote too.
yeah. See, okay, so I chose this piece of advice because it's something that I struggle with, but I'm learning to get through it.
Yeah.
Is try your hardest not to be sentimental with everything because that makes it harder to let go of things.
Yeah.
If you are always
so true.
so attached because you're like, oh no, like, yes, I'm like a little bit sad or I'm not very happy, but like, I don't want to let that go. Like, I want to hold on to that. So I'll just like, you know, push it aside or something, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that happens with everything that we spoke about. Work, relationships, family, everything like that. And then my quote to go with it is my favorite quote from that whole episode. Let it hurt, then let it go. And I feel like they match so perfectly.
They do. They really do. I love that.
I love it. Okay, what's your favorite quote?
Well, my little piece of advice is that, and it's easier said than done, but there is never a toxic situation that you can't leave, whether it's a workplace, like quit your fucking job. Like it's not, you'll always find a different job. Get rid of the friend. There's so many other people. Dump the person, etc., etc. The only hardest one is probably family, and it's like you can still cut them out. Like you can still leave them. Just because you're family doesn't mean like that you have to put up with their bullshit. And my favorite quote is the flower one.
Yeah, I love that quote. I was hoping you'd do that quote.
I know. If a flower doesn't bloom, you change the flower's environment. It's not the flower's fault.
Never the flower's fault. And you are the flower, people. Be the flower and bloom.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's every episode wrapped up into a bundle. So to finish it off, we've got a lot of things on my mind in this page. But we also have some life lessons. Do we want to save them till the very end?
Yeah, so we want to leave you with 3 life lessons that we feel like we've really taken away from our lives, I guess, our biggest pieces of life advice. And then I've got a few little advice things as well. What do you have?
Okay, so first off, I kind of have what I've learned from this experience in like a little paragraph. So I've learnt that I am still young, but when I surround myself with people, like when I surround myself with people that are my age, it's easier to recognize, like I'm not saying this negatively, but it's easier to recognize what you've achieved or where you at. And that also helped me understand like maybe that's a lot of pressure on someone that is my age and that is still trying to find themselves. Like you said, when you're 19, you're constantly changing and it is a whole year of self-discovery. And so when you surround yourself with people that are at that same place as you, like obviously everyone's kind of on their own area, but just like going back to age specifically, it's just like, for me, it was kind of like a pat on the back, like, hey, like you have done this much, like you can like kind of slow down. And B, it was also realization that that's a lot and a lot of pressure.
100%. I think it's just important to have a perspective of you're not thinking you're not surrounding yourself with people your age to try to feel like you've done more than them or it's a competition or that you're better than them. Like I think you need to keep in mind that everyone's on their own journey, and although like one of them you might feel like you've done more, who knows, like next year they could win the lottery and be on a yacht and like run this $1 million business, you know. Like I think comparison is a bitch, even in the other direction. Like if you have a friend who's your age that you feel is doing better than you can't feel bad about that. You can't compare yourself because again, we're all on our different journeys.
And we're all going to end up in different places.
Well, we all end up in the same place, in the ground, but
well, that's depressing. I think it was just, I realized that I have time to evolve and grow.
Yes.
And my career isn't going anywhere just yet. I am still growing up, but currently that's one of my best qualities and character traits, is that I am still in that process.
Exactly. And you just need to have some more fun.
Yeah. Fun? I don't do fun. Fun's not for me. I'm not into that. So in episode 1, we spoke about 5 words that describe us. And I think I've just kind of added 3 more. Because I don't want to, like you said to me earlier, I don't want to change them because they are still me. But I've realized some more traits that I probably would have kept hidden or didn't want to acknowledge, or because like I thought they were negative or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
So,
hit me.
Number 1 is naive, which sounds like a negative word, but I don't think it is. Because I feel like there's still, in where I'm at, it's kind of naive to like other people's situations because I was so focused on what I was doing and so pushed that it was kind of like I didn't understand other people's situations, or I didn't put myself where they were and understand that everyone is kind of on their own area and their own journey in life. So it's kind of just, to me, it's kind of just still learning about life, which leads me on to my second word, which is learning, which is basically, I feel like that's just helping the part of the journey that we're going on.
Yeah. I also want to add that everyone is always learning. You're never at a point where you know everything. Like,
no.
Adults say that they're still learning. 80-year-olds are still learning. You learn something new every fucking day, and it's like
every
it's
day.
Totally okay.
That was my school's motto: learning for life.
Oh God.
Yeah, right. Okay. Are you ready for your advice?
Yes. I might do my little bits of advice first, and then go into the life lessons, if that's okay.
Yeah. No. Go for it.
Okay. Always go with your gut. Is number 1 because
gut instinct.
Yes. Like, I have such a gut. I'm always the one. It was a hectic lockdown, okay? No, I really have an intuitive personality, and I get a gut feeling about things, and there's been so many times where I haven't listened to it. And it's always been right. And I think always go with your gut. Yeah, and it's hard. You honestly need to get to know your gut. Like, you need to get to know the feeling, and you need to trust it. Really though, like, it's hard. Yourself. It's hard to hear it. I've been through stages where I'm like, oh God, I know what my gut is telling me, but I'm ignoring it. Or like, I know, like, I'm pretending I don't know, but I think I do. Yeah. It's hard. It's like you almost, it gets lost beneath the noise of life sometimes.
And you try to mask it as well. If you start to feel it, you're like, oh no, like, that's not true. Here, I'll prove to you that it's not true by doing this.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think as well, I personally, I always got a gut feeling about people, but I try to give them a chance anyway in a cautious way. Like, say I meet someone, I get a really bad feeling and I really don't like them. I'm not going to be horrible to them and like not get to know them because of that. But I'll do it very cautiously. I will try to give them a chance, maybe in group settings. Like, if I have to see them, say it's like one of my friends they've brought in. If I get a gut feeling I'm not a fan, I'm not going to like invite them for coffee or to hang out at my house. But if my friend brings them again, I'll talk to them and, like, you know, I'm not going to be horrible or let them know about the feeling. But I probably just wouldn't trust them unless they give me a reason to, honestly. And it's just always been right. Yeah.
It's good.
Okay. My other one is trust in the process. What will be, will be. And I think this is 100% relating to your let it hurt and then let it go. Because I just think, like, there's so many things in life that you stress about. Like, say, for example, boys, like, you're like stressing, they haven't texted you back, or like you're like so stressed if they're going to ask you out again, or will it work out, or you don't know what to do. And you wait around for people. It's like waiting at a bus stop for them to show up as the bus. And it's like, you know what? Fucking get your bike out and ride. Wow. Like, do your own journey. Right? Whole metaphor there. It is. I read this book. Yeah, I read this book ages ago about, it's called The Unexpected Joys of Being Single. And it's not even about being single. It's literally about the fact that you shouldn't feel like you have to be in a relationship kind of thing. And it's really cool, like, psychologically. Anyway, go read it. It's amazing. And also the main thing that she said relating to this was like, stop waiting around. Stop wasting your life waiting for people to decide things. And one of her things was like, she was seeing this guy and he couldn't commit. Like, he was always up and down. She was always waiting for him to call or waiting for him to text her back or whatever. And then one day she got an opportunity to move to France and she just did it. And then a week later he messaged her like, I've been trying to call you and you haven't picked up and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh yeah, I moved to France. And he's like, what the hell? And she's like, well, we weren't anything. Like, you know, I'm not going to wait around for you to decide. So she just moved. Oh. I think that's fucking awesome.
That's ballsy.
Right? And I think, like, regardless of what you believe, whether you believe there's God or it's the universe or whatever, I just think, like, things will work out the way they're meant to, and you just need to trust in the process, as hard as that is.
It's true, though. It is.
Yeah.
It's like the gut feeling. It's something that it's hard to do, but you know what's right deep down inside.
That's it. And then my last little bit of advice is to just remember that happiness is not a final destination. It is a journey, and it is a fleeting feeling. You will have days where you'll feel really happy and really sad in the same breath. Like, people think I want to be happy as if it's a goal, and they have all this stuff that they think, if I achieve this, I will be happy. But the reality is it's not a final destination. It is not something to get to at the end of the line. Like, there's no end of the line. It's like a complete, it's always in. It's like comes into your life and it goes out of your life, and it happens daily. And it's like, you just need to remember it's a fleeting feeling, and you got to appreciate it when it's there and try to get it back when it's not, if that makes sense.
Yes, but you shouldn't aim to just be happy. Because
you can, but like, don't have it as your goal as like, if I'm gonna do
by next February,
or like, if I get this job, I'll be happy. Yeah, you'll be happy some days, but you're not gonna be like, don't romanticize it.
Yeah, and then as soon as you get kind of if you like are setting that, like, if I get this job, I'll be happy. And then something happens one day and you're sad, you'll be like, oh, that wasn't the job then. And it's like, well, no, it was. You just,
You can't put that much
See where you're
pressure
going.
on it.
Yeah.
Because it's
I
a
like
fleeting feeling. It's not a final thing
Yes, I like that.
to achieve.
Those are
Okay,
good pieces
anyway.
of advice.
I try. Let's go into our life lessons. You can kick us off.
Okay, number 1 is basically what we've been talking about this whole time. Live in the moment and don't wish it away too soon.
Yes. Carpe diem.
So good. Okay, your number 1?
Oh, I love that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go
okay.
into it with detail.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
People will always come and go in your life, but your mum will always be there. That's a life lesson I've learned.
That's
your mum,
really cute.
like my mum, and it's not for everyone. Like some people have toxic mums, and that sucks. But for me, I've always learned, no matter what somebody does to me or says to me, or whatever friends or boyfriends come in and out of my life, my mum is the constant. She'll always be there.
Yes, that's true. That's so cute. I love that. Okay. Number 2 is, I haven't like flushed it out into a good sentence yet. Like it's not like a good piece of life advice to take. Like it's not a quote. It's just,
That's fine.
Okay. It's important to recognize your toxic/negative traits and then understand that you too can have some issues or you can be the cause of a problem, because it's usually not just one person in a situation. I mean, sometimes we can't say for everything, but I'm just saying it's usually 2 people.
Yeah.
And it's important for you to understand and even like work on your toxic traits and kind of realize them and then be like, okay, like maybe I overreact or maybe I do this or maybe I do that. And then recognizing that and then kind of,
Yeah, being self-aware.
Yes.
Our favorite thing.
Definitely. Okay.
No good. My second one is you get out what you put in. So can relate to anything. Like I've just really realized over the years you can't like sit and wait for things to be handed to you. Things aren't going to change if you don't get up off your ass and change them. Like you need to, whatever effort you put in, that's what you'll get back out.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. That's a good one. Okay. This one we just, you'll like what I've kind of titled this. This is like the advice, and we'll go into it, the life lesson. Sit down, be humble. A little bit of Kendrick Lamar in there.
Oh my God.
We love Kylie Jenner and Kendrick Lamar.
I don't, but anyway.
Well, you should. Yeah, I just think you kind of need to humble yourself. It's important to see your privilege in life as well. So to kind of see that, I know we talk about like not comparing what you haven't been through with what someone else has been through, because that is a bad thing to do. Like being like, oh, well, no, like you said with your ex-boyfriend, like, oh, my mother didn't die, so I can't be sad,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, don't do that. But you just kind of need to humble yourself and, to an extent, empathize and understand why people take things differently and kind of where, like, everyone else sees things in a different way from what they've been through and how they were raised and everything like that.
Yeah, I think that one's really important in the sense of like, you don't judge, like you never know what someone else has been through. And you don't always have to give your fucking opinion. Like that's a huge one. It's like sit down, be humble to me not only means like, someone else might be going through something. So like you don't have to fucking share your experience. You can let them share theirs. But also I think it means like know when to like pick your battles in the sense of you don't always have to share your point of view. Like not everyone always wants to hear your opinion. I think sometimes the less you speak, the better, in the sense of you don't always have to say, like, how do I phrase that? Does that make sense? Like, yeah, I just feel like
I completely get what you're saying.
Yeah, like don't be so self-entitled that you think everyone wants to hear what you have to say every time.
Yeah, and that your opinion on the situation, like your advice or your opinion is going to help. Like, even if, for example, you haven't been through a situation, and someone's telling you something that you don't have experience in. I feel like it's important for you to kind of say that to someone, be like, oh, like I've never really been there, rather than be like, well, this is what I think. Or like,
yeah, exactly.
you should just, like, if someone's got, I don't know, like if someone's got, this is quite serious, but if someone's got an eating disorder and you've never had that, and then you say, oh, like just eat. Or if someone's sad and you like depressed and you've never been there, just like, oh, get happy. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Obviously
exactly.
more in detail, but
yeah. And you have to really communicate. Like what I always do, I have a few friends that have been through some really serious stuff. And I'm always like, I can only imagine what or I can't imagine what you're going through. You're probably feeling X, Y, and Z. And I can emphasize with that. And I'm so sorry you're going through that. I'm here for you if you want to vent, etc., etc. But make it clear, like, you're only offering your advice if it's asked for. Unsolicited opinions are one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, I did not ask for your opinion. I don't want it.
yeah.
And you don't need to give everyone your opinion unless it's asked for.
Yes, that's so true, because especially if you are kind of in that mindset
Yeah.
where you are confused or if you're not feeling great or something, and then someone gives you their opinion on your situation, you're kind of like, well, no, I didn't need that. I was kind of working through that on my own, so thanks for that. You're like, that actually just made it worse. Now I'm more sad.
That's it.
Now I'm more confused with my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, you know, be humble,
Love it.
people.
Okay, well, my last life lesson is if you wait until you're ready, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life.
Wow.
I know. I love it. It was
Just
mainly...
everyone just take that in for a second.
Literally, let's have a minute silence. No, it was mainly when I was like umming and ahhing about traveling, and I was like, oh, I don't have anyone to go with, blah, blah, blah. Like, I was waiting for someone else to want to come with because it was scary to go alone. I was like, you know what? If I wait forever, I'll never go. So I just think, like, do the shit you want to do. Life is so short. Make sure that you just fucking do it.
Very true. You're never going to be 100% ready because you're always going to have the doubt or the fear in your mind.
Yeah,
so you'll tell yourself you're not ready for it.
Exactly.
But you are. You'll know. The gut feeling will tell you. Listen to your gut. Yeah. It'll say, go. Do it. It'll whisper to you at night.
Exactly. Obviously, there's some things that, like, say you want to move country, you obviously want to make sure you have money and you want to have that kind of stuff. But you can have a conversation with yourself and be like, okay, what's a realistic amount of money I need to do this? Once I have it, I'm just going to go. And I'm okay with the fact that I might lose this money. Like, once this money has run out, this is how much I'm allocating myself, then I'm coming home if I don't find a job or something like that. You know, like, set yourself boundaries, but just do it. Like, it usually works out. You need to take the leap of faith. Usually.
You'll find out when you do it.
Yeah, exactly. They are our life lessons and bits of advice that we kind of just wanted to end on because we love all that stuff. And
turn them into quotes, everyone.
I was about to say, am I right in thinking you have a quote to end us on?
I do. But it's a quote we've used before in an episode. So.
Oh, that's fine. Go.
But it's one that I feel like is really relating to where I'm at.
Yeah.
So, self-care is giving the world the best of you rather than what's left of you. Like we just did with this episode.
Yes.
You need to, you know, focus on
you.
Build yourself, kind of make yourself feel, you know, the positivity or feel secure within yourself so that you're able to give the world the best of you. And that's with everything in life. Your career, if you're like me and you're so passionate, but you don't really know who you are, then you can't really perform your best if you're just giving what's left.
Exactly. And I think it kind of sums up all of the episodes in one because it's like, you know, make sure you're prioritizing you, putting yourself first, self-care, being organized, your personal brand, self-confidence, like all of it coming into an adulthood.
It is such a good summing up.
It really is. It really is.
All right. Well,
so,
do you have one?
No, I don't. I didn't get a quote. I just think my biggest piece of advice in life is just, honestly, no one else is you. Like, that's, I hate that quote. I hate the quote that's like, no one is you and that is your power.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's cliche. But I just think, honestly, at the end of the day, no matter what you're going through, you have to be your own best friend. You've only got yourself. Like, what I said before about my mum will always be there, she won't. She'll die. That's morbid, but she will die eventually. The only constant in your life is you. You have you. You have to have your own back.
Yes. And that's why you need to put yourself first and make sure that you are the best version of you for the people around you, but also mainly for yourself.
Yeah. You have to look out for yourself. Things. Don't give a fuck what people think. Do whatever you want. Remember that life is short. Take risks and do crazy shit. Yes. Okay?
Don't wish your life away. If you're like me and you're still 19, you've got years.
You've got your whole life ahead of you. Just make the most of it. And try not to get in your own head about like, I should be doing this. I should be doing this. Mm-hmm. Do whatever you want to do, but make sure that you're doing, the best of you.
Yes. And not what's left of you. See, it comes in everywhere. Okay. So,
yeah, that was a big episode.
That was big. I was just looking at the time.
I know. I really need to pee as well.
Yeah. Hold it in. My phone's going flat.
Oh, God.
It's bringing us to the end.
Yes.
Okay. So, that is the final episode of the Fresh Perspective podcast.
Which I'm actually kind of sad about because I've had so much fun today. Like, I love podcasting. I just think we both are really, we find it really fun. But it is, I think,
the conversation.
Yeah, it's a good convo. And it's always fun. Yeah, but we know that it's for the best.
Exactly. Which is sad, but like I said, everyone, try not to be sentimental. It makes it hard.
Exactly. So, like, we have to see it for what it's worth and, we have to see it as be glad it's happened, not sad that it ended.
Yeah. Good quote too. Write that down.
I know.
It is bittersweet, but it is a good way to end. I loved this so much. And a mini series is good.
Yeah, and maybe in a year's time we'll be like, let's do another 10.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
We could just, and then we'll just pop up every now and then, and you guys will be like, oh, they're back.
Oh my gosh,
it'll be fun. Oh my god, imagine if we did 5 years time.
Yeah, say we do 10 episodes every year and just see how much we've changed. That would be wild.
So much.
But anyway, the future is open to possibilities.
Yeah.
We are just really happy that you guys, if you've listened to every single episode, thank you. And wow, you deserve a gold medal because we do fucking ramble.
Yeah, we definitely do. So yes, thank you for the ratings, for subscribing, even just downloading and listening, even if it's just 5 minutes and you're skipping through. Yeah, we appreciate it.
If we've just joined you on a drive or whether you're getting ready for work or whatever, whenever you listen to it, thanks for listening to our voices for so many hours.
Yep, us just continuously talking. And thank you for following us on Instagram and being a part of the journey, liking all the photos, interacting with us.
Yes.
It's been amazing. So
it has.
Thank you so much. And we
won't. Let's talk to you next week.
I was so close to saying it. I didn't know how to stop it.
But keep your eyes peeled. You never know what will come up. And follow us on our personal accounts because we both are so ambitious and love creative stuff. So if you
follow us both on our future endeavors, we're going to...
Yeah, exactly.
We'll continue to support one another. I don't think this episode has... I think this episode has proved it, but I just want to be clear that we are still supporting one another 100% in where we're going in life and nothing horrible has happened. We're not in this horrific breakup where we hate one another.
No, not at all. We're on different paths and we can respect each other and appreciate that. If we continue doing this together, we'll probably clash a lot.
Yeah, and I think
we want to avoid that and keep the peace.
100%. And yeah, we didn't want that to reflect in the podcast if we started,
and we wanted to keep it as something fun. Sometimes you've got to end things while they're good so that you kind of remember it as a good thing.
Yeah, rather than think about all the bad times. Exactly. Which there were none.
Which there has been none, no.
There's been none here. But, if we continued. So, yes, follow us on our little journeys. Our journeys may be a little different for a while.
Yeah.
But, see where we end up. Things...
That's it.
Things can change.
Okay, well, we're going to wrap up because I am going to burst. I really need a wee.
Okay.
It's been an hour and a half, so yeah.
You're just really holding that and you started dancing.
Yeah. I know. We've kind of said everything, but just, again, thanks so much, guys.
Yes, thank you. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for this.
You said it.
Yes. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.